Should you buy a PS5? People have been asking me this question for years. Well, you probably can't because it's sold out and you probably couldn't pre-order it because that was a train wreck. But maybe next year, you'll be at Target, you're buying a bag of Cheetos and you'll see a PS5 sitting there on the shelf. Should you get it? Eventually. First, let's talk about the most boring part of the PS5. The hardware. Back in the day when you jumped from the Super Nintendo to the PlayStation, that was crazy. 2D to 3D, that was a huge leap forward in technology. Then PS1 to PS2, this was not as dramatic, but it was still pretty crazy. I remember my mom got me PS2 for Christmas and I could not believe how realistic those games looked. To me, that was it. There was no way for video games to look better than Madden 2001. And to some extent, that was kinda true. The jump from PS2 to PS3 was very underwhelming. The big thing was HD resolutions, except most people didn't even own an HD television at that point. On top of this, there were already hundreds of PS2 games that looked significantly better than any of the PS3 launch titles. The jump from PS3 to PS4 was even smaller, and the jump from PS4 to PS5 is possibly the smallest yet. Look at this comparison between 1080p and 4K. Can you actually tell me which of these screenshots is in 4K? You can? Oh, you can? Because that's just a 1080p screenshot of The Witcher 3. You busted, boy. Check out this list of games. These are some of the best games on the PlayStation 4. And these are the games that could probably run on a PlayStation 3. Raw computation no longer equates to fancy graphics. The PS4 can run God of War, but how many games look like God of War? There's like 3. Cutting edge graphics are no longer within reach of most major game studios. Halo Infinite is rumored to be the most expensive video game ever created. Then they actually showed the game off and we started comparing it to Xbox 360 screenshots. I can't get excited about computer chips anymore, I'm sorry. What is cool about the PS5 is the controller. Haptic feedback thing. The triggers have this resistance to them which developers can program to behave in different ways, and the rumble can do goofy stuff too, like if you shoot a machine gun, the controller's going. For $400, you are getting a pretty powerful system for the money, and hopefully one that will be supported by Sony for 6 to 7 years. I am concerned about the hard drive though. You're only getting about 650 gigabytes of storage, so you're gonna run out of space fast with these big ass games coming out. But let's cut the bullshit, okay? Let's talk some real talk. Games. This is the only thing that matters. You can throw numbers at me all day, but if it can't run Tekken, then why are you even talking to me right now? The PS5 has a far stronger launch lineup than the PS3 or the PS4 did. First off, you get backwards compatibility with every PS4 game except Joe's Diner, which is going to be a deal breaker for some, but it's still pretty cool, especially for people who never owned a PS4. However, no PS1 games, no PS2 games, no PS3 games. This is a major missed opportunity by Sony. If I could play every PlayStation title on one machine, I would recommend this console to everyone out there. Unfortunately, I can only recommend it to 5 people out there, 1 for each PlayStation. Sackboy's Big Adventure. From the trailer, this looked like a knockoff Mario 3D World, and after playing through the first world, yeah, this is exactly that. Except you run really slow. Even though it is a $60 game, it's probably not fair to compare this up against Mario. I would compare it more against Crash Bandicoot 4 that came out last month, and that game had some really detailed atmospheric levels. Psychonauts 2 will come out someday, and we also have the new Ratchet & Clank game coming to PS5, so 3D platformers are coming back. There's a special version of Devil May Cry 5 for PS5 that I want to check out. This is one of the best games Capcom has ever done. Assassin's Creed is made by the people who make Assassin's Creed, so you probably don't want to play that. Demon's Souls. Now this is a weird one. For a lot of people, this is the game they'll get the PS5 for, except it's a PS3 game from 2009. The graphics look phenomenal, but from what I understand, the gameplay is fundamentally unchanged, which means all of the stuff that makes this game great is here, and all of the stupid, broken-ass bullshit is also here. Unlike Sackboy in Spider-Man, this is not cross-platform. It is a PS5 exclusive. Even though PS4 could definitely run this game, Sony is positioning Demon's Soul as the system-selling game for now. Call of Duty 17 Black Ops 5 Cold War is kinda similar to Demon's Souls in that it's a 13-year-old game with new graphics. No grapple hook in this one, so it's pretty much worthless. Astro's Playroom. This one comes installed on the console. This is sort of a mini sequel to Astrobot Rescue, but instead of VR, they're showcasing what the PS5 controller can do. The game takes place inside of the PS5 itself, so there's a level where you go to the hard drive, and there's a level where you go to the fan, and there's a song playing in the background telling you what the GPU does. It's weird. It's like a playable commercial, but it's a very cool commercial. Your prize for doing side missions is that you get the network adapter for PS2, or you can win the stupid ass multi-tap. And there's a lot of references to all different PlayStation games. Sly Cooper's in there, Metal Gear, Ape Escape, Death Stranding, Tekken. There's like 90 different games to find. So yeah, this is probably the best tech demo ever produced. Then we got Spider-Man. Other Spider-Man is Spider-Man this time, and the other Spider-Man is the other Spider-Man from the movie, but not the good movie, the stupid movie. This is the first game most people getting a PS5 will play, and gameplay wise, you know, the feeling of being the Spider-Man is always there. I've seen a lot of people hating on this game, saying it's just a reskin or a DLC, but this is not true. This game is much, much better than the original, because if you go around the map, you can find a collectible toy of big wheels. So